What's up, everybody? Jason from Jason's Exotic Reptiles. Today we're going to cover a topic of starting your own reptile business. So I've been getting a lot of emails, messages through Facebook. I think I got one through YouTube about people requesting how do I start my own reptile business, what I recommend they start with, and how to make money so it can be a career. So those are all, I guess, very different questions, but all related to each other. And there's no real right or wrong way to do this, but what I would recommend is start small. So I just kind of started my thing going official a couple years ago. Before, it was just breeding things that I liked and selling the babies that I had. So it was never really an official Jason's Exotic Reptiles. It was just me selling reptiles that I bred. There's really no difference, except now I get to write off things on my taxes. Than before I was paying taxes, I had no write-offs. So what easiest thing that I could say is start small. So I see a lot of people that are going out, they get 10 grand and they want to go buy 2 reptiles. They want to go buy the most expensive things they have, and that's a good mindset to have of, I'm going to buy these really expensive animals, I'll make really expensive animals, and I'll sell them. But for the same reasons that all you people who are looking to buy those $5,000-$10,000 animals are not going to a small breeder who nobody's really ever heard of. You're going to go to the big names, the Nerd, the Prehistoric Pets, the BHB. These are the people who you're looking at buying these animals. People who've been around and doing this for years. There's a reason why you're not going to that smaller breeder. Maybe you don't know they're there. Maybe you just don't trust them. Do I really want to send $10,000 to this person who has no reviews and very little history we know nothing about? So the best thing that I could say is start small. Build your reputation with the cheaper animals, the $100, $200 animals, and build your reputation that, all right, this is a good person, he's reliable, or she's reliable, and you can start to build a customer base that you grow your reputation on. And that's what I've done. I've done it both ways. I've started with the real expensive animals, and I have all these animals, I can't sell them. And it's not because they're not worth what the big name breeder is. It's just I don't have the access. I don't have the customer base and the exposure to sell these animals. So I would recommend starting with the cheaper stuff. Anybody's going to take a chance. I shouldn't say anybody, but a lot more people will take a chance on a $200 animal compared to a $2,000 or $20,000 animal. So the mindset of making money is good, but the mindset of being able to sell these animals is a little bit more complicated. So once you get your $200 customer base, then you can raise it up to the $400, $500, $600, $700 customer base, then over $1,000, and you're kind of in business from there. That's when you can start expanding into these more expensive animals. So that's some advice I could give to people. It all takes a little bit of time to get it going, and once you're rolling, that's when things start happening. You have to put in a lot of effort to get these customers. You have to show that you're trustworthy. You have to do the things that can be hard to do sometimes. It's not easy always responding to messages as you're trying to grow, and always trying to, I don't want to say make a sale, but make the customer feel comfortable that they're giving you their money on the faith that you're going to give them something back, and it only takes one bad review to screw all that up. So it's very important to build your name and build your reputation as a reliable person, especially if you want to make a living out of doing something like this. I still have another job. I work 50, 60 hours a week at my other job. Then I come home and I do another 20 to 40 hours a week just cleaning snakes, feeding snakes. At the level I have a lot of snakes, and just the bills to feed and heat and all that stuff. My electric bill is $1,000 a month. My feeding is $6,000-$7,000 a year. So I have to make $20,000, $30,000 before I even put anything in my pocket. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because these are things that I enjoy. I like the excitement of making new babies. I like seeing what I have, and I just like interacting with the animals. As I've grown, it's gotten a little bit less where I can't spend that one-on-one time with the animals, but I make it a point to, whether it's during feeding or just random cage checks, I make it a point to just actually take these animals out and hold them and take a minute to look at what you have in your hands, because it can get a little bit overwhelming where you have all these animals and you just get into these motions. The other thing about a reptile business is when you make it about money, you really start to lose a lot of the enjoyment that you originally had when you first started doing it as a hobby. So that's one thing I noticed and I promised myself a while back, is to not make it about money, and that's why I still work a regular job now. And if I make money on it, that's awesome. I reinvest it. I buy more cool animals that I like and I enjoy. If I don't make it, it's not a big deal. I still have my regular job, and I'm still supporting myself. So it's a difficult scenario where you want to make it a career, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I have a career doing something else, and then this is just something I can do on the side as a hobby. This is my spending money if I need it, or this is just reinvesting into more animals that I want. So it's a passion. It's never something that's I need to rely on making money. When you start looking at a female snake, things happen when you breed. You could raise an animal for 5 years, all of a sudden you breed her and she dies. She dies when she ovulates. So that's a shitty feeling. And when you start caring more about the babies that you could have had from that animal than you did about the animal that you just spent 5 years raising, that's a problem, in my opinion. Maybe it's not for some people, but that's where I saw myself going when I was trying to make it about money. Is I cared more about the profit than I did about the animal. So I reassessed what I was doing, and I said, this isn't the way things should be, and I don't want to have to stress out about, are my animals producing enough babies so I can pay my bills this month? So that's your call. It's breeding reptiles. It's very unpredictable. You could have 10 snakes and every one of them could slug out. They could give you small litters, unhealthy litters, bad babies, no babies. So it's a risk if you're going to make that a living. I recommend starting smaller, starting with cheaper animals, really understanding how to breed them, how to bring this concept of putting the animals together, cycling them, and making those babies before you jump into a $20,000-$30,000 snake, or even a couple $1,000 snake. It's nice to think you can buy this $1,000-$2,000 snake and make $1,000-$2,000 babies, but by the time you figure out what you're actually doing and how to breed these animals, you might have a $200 snake at that point. The market is volatile and will move up and down. You may not figure out how to breed that for 10 years. And then at that point, they're at every expo. So I recommend starting with something you love. Starting with, if it's a pastel ball python, if it's a normal ball python or a normal boa constrictor, start with the normal. There's nothing wrong with breeding and producing cheap babies. There's always a demand for that. And it's hard to beat a really pretty normal snake. It's at the point now where the market is, you almost don't see them anymore. You see all these really cool morphs and all these patterns and things getting into them. This is a 20 gene snake and people say, wow, but they forget that there's a normal animal that looks pretty badass on its own. And so I don't want to keep going. I could ramble on this all day. I hope this helps you guys. If you have any specific questions, put a comment. I'll try to address them. My breeding season's going very well. My website is not up to date as of right now. I have no babies for sale. In the next couple weeks, I'll be putting babies up that have hatched or that have been laid. I need to feed them, and once they shed, they feed a couple times. I'll post some pictures, put them up there, but I don't have anything available at the moment. Within the next month, I should probably have, I don't know, maybe 100 available. But so it's kind of a little plug for me, but at the same time, it's you're going to see, pay attention to the babies that I produce. You're going to see there's a range that I like to work with the customer in, the kind of like the $300 to $600 price range. I don't mind working with people in the cheaper snakes. I think that's perfect. A lot of times those $100 to, or we'll say $50 to $300 snakes is somebody's first pet snake, and I really enjoy working with that customer to get them set up, giving them the care and all the requirements. And then there's like that $300 to $600 range snake where people kind of know what they're doing. They have a focus. They know what they're looking for. They're looking for a sun glow or a motley sun glow or whatever it is. They're looking for a specific animal, and that's usually a nice, easy customer to deal with. They have very few questions. And then you have the over 1,000 or over 600 plus, and that's again a very specific customer. And you're going to really need to work to get those customers, and not really work, but you need to build your reputation before someone's going to hand you over $1,500 not knowing you from a hole in the wall. You might get lucky, you might sell one, but the last thing you want to do is start dropping your prices so you can sell these animals, because you're just destroying the market you're trying to get into. So I'm going to stop rambling. Hopefully this video helps. I appreciate you guys following. Check out the website, www.jasonsexoticreptiles.com, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know some more topics or what you're interested in. I can't cover everything, but I'm trying to get to them as I can. Thanks, guys.